we go.
3rd of February, Rabbi Levitt, Pele, Yoetz.
Okay, Bezrat Hashem.
Looks like Alan just came too.
Alan just came. Wow. Okay.
Good morning.
Good morning, Alan.
Morning, Alan.
Morning, everybody.
Okay, so we did Hashkama, rising early, and we did Hatzalah, saving others. Now we're in the middle of Haskama. Haskama, okay, so we're up to page 221. And after the long paragraph, we have the middle paragraph, how proper it is. And we'd like to call upon Mayor, please.
Okay, it says, how proper it is that those who establish rules and regulations should not do so by means of nachash, which is, I guess, excommunication, censure, and denunciation.
Hello,
Lest-
Rabbi Levitt.
Lest those
Okay.
who breach the safeguard
Okay, right.
be bitten by the snake. Oh, that's nachash, the snake. And many people die, heaven forbid. Rather, they should establish regulations by means of social agreement and monetary fines. Let it suffice that an individual who violates the rules of the community has committed a sin. They also should not institute any directive or establish any new prohibition for generations to come, because no one knows what each day will bring. Perhaps a time will come that people will not be able to abide by the rule, and they'll either grind their teeth or disobey it. Therefore, the heads of the community should initially legislate only for a limited time or make the ruling subject to the discretion of a judge or leader in each generation to change, add, or detract from it.
Okay, so Nachash, as you see, is a Rosh Tevus. So that stands for three things that one of these what would you call them? These bodies of representatives of the Jewish community would be empowered to do in order to enforce their decrees, et cetera, et cetera. So let's just try to explain what are the three things that they are. So Nakash, you have a nun that stands for nidui. Nidui is he translates here as excommunication, that the Beis Din would decree that no one has anything to do with this person. They don't do business with him. They don't. He's not allowed in the shul. Things of this sort. And maybe I got myself into trouble over here. Ches stands for censure. So that, I guess, would be cherem. And you want to know what's the difference between nidui and cherem? That's a good question. And it's another means whereby, in other words, the words of the Beis Din would be, they're basically making it not possible for this person to live in the community. He's basically ostracized, and over here the cherem, it's announced that he has what he has done and he's in violation of the the orders of the Beis Din, and because of sometimes because of the public humiliation that the person suffers, he may buckle. That's the hope. That's the reason why the Beis Din does it, because they're trying to get this person to do what he's required to what he's required to do. So that's the nun, and that's the ches, and the shin, denunciation. Shamta, which is also it's another expression for the for these types of measures that the Beis Din is taking. And so here the Pele Yoetz is saying, and this, what he says is the nachash. It's very apropos, because that's what the Gemara says, that the person who violates and ignores the exhortations of the Rabbanan, whether that be the Rabbanan of the Talmud, in other words, Chazal, or whether it be the regulations and the measures of the community in which he lives in today. That what the Gemara says would apply to him, that he's bitten by the snake. In other words, it's a scary thing, and so therefore the Pele Yoetz is saying it's a bit too scary for us, and it's a bit too. He believes it's not in order for our days, and therefore he's coming out and he's saying that this is not something that these types of measures, these very serious, scary measures, should not be done. But what should they do? They should establish their thing, and then take money out of the guy. And we all know today that that's something that speaks to people. And if they can manage to get the money, that's what they'll try to do. Okay, but it's I think today it is pretty much it's not. It's rare. It's rare that you find that a Beis Din today will take these types of measures. You do find it here and there, but it's generally speaking, it seems as though the Jewish courts and the community organizations of today have followed what it says over here in the Pele Yoetz. Okay. And we go on to Alan. It is not appropriate.
Okay. It is not appropriate to hotly pursue those individuals who privately violate the agreements behind closed doors, in order that the enactments should not be treated greater than what the Holy One, blessed be He, commanded us. Due to egregious sin, there are many violations, especially in private. In light of this, when Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai blessed his students, he said to them, "Would that the fear of heaven be upon you like the fear of flesh and blood. Therefore, a person should not pursue them aggressively in order to punish them, so that they will not increase their wrongdoing and come to blasphemy. It's sufficient that even though the matter is diminished now, in the end it will triumph. If we see that it is something which many people have grown accustomed to, and they are obsessed by it, the leaders of the community should not totally and immediately uproot the matter. Rather, they should choose the lesser of the evils and slowly uproot this wrongdoing completely. In the same vein as is written in Shemos 23:30, little by little I will drive them out from before you. Just as there is a prohibition of favoritism in judgment, it applies as well to social agreements and enactments in the community. All people must be treated equally. The leader should not favor the poor or honor the rich. One Torah and one standard of judgment should apply to everyone. People who act thusly will never falter on condition that all of their actions are for the sake of heaven, for the sake of Hashem, Master Universe.
Okay, a round of applause for communal agreements and page 221. Very good. Okay, so now we go to Hishtadlus, human efforts, page 222. Lou, would you like to continue for us?
Okay. Human effort is critical for every good thing, whether in mundane or subtle matters. Even though everything is in the hands of heaven, nevertheless, it has already been explained that sometimes Hashem's wisdom has decreed that the outcome of a decision is based on the human effort and ingenuity invested in it.
Okay.
That's an odd statement. The greatest amount of effort, ingenuity, and zeal is necessary in order to save those condemned to death before the anger of the angel of death strikes. Heaven save us. Several times we have seen and heard stories of opportunities to save people who were condemned to death with little effort. However, due to negligence and the attitude of nothing to worry about, and their concern about spending money, the fire becomes larger and the flames leap higher until it is necessary to expend huge sums of money in order to save the condemned. Would that they be successful. Therefore, the responsibility lies upon the entire nation, especially those individuals that have influence among the government ministers, to quickly liberate any person who falls into their hands. This is compared to an animal trap. Once the animal is caught, no one has compassion upon it. So too, the Gentiles do not show compassion once a person falls into their hands. The greatness of the mitzvah of saving a life is well known. For almost the entire Torah may be violated in order to save a life. How much more so is all of Israel required to spend all of their money and to sell even a Torah scroll for the sake of saving a life? Our sages declared, whoever saves one Jewish life is considered as if he saved the entire world. Our first patriarch was just one man, Abraham, and from him emerged millions of Jews. Adam, the first human being, was the source of all humanity. Therefore, the obligation is to act swiftly to achieve everything good, and everything which is within his power, he must do. God will do that which is good in his eyes, and he will give much reward to the individual who makes an effort as if he was the one who accomplished this goal. So I'd like to understand this statement that said, that the outcome of a decision is based on human effort and ingenuity invested into it. I had always understood the opposite, that it's not human effort and ingenuity, but it's Hashem's will. It's that we do the Hashdadalus, we do our part because that's what Hashem says we should do. And
Right.
and we recognize that that's why we're doing it, not because we want to get the result.
Yeah, let me just see what he says exactly in the Hebrew. Mishtadlis zorik ma'od, l'kol davar toiv, bein limili da'am, bein limin shmaya. Human effort is very necessary for every matter, whether it be a spiritual matter, whether it be a, so to speak, material matter. Shaful P, Shakol B'dei Shemayim. So he mentions, oh, 1 second, we have to let in Roy. Speaking of human efforts, okay. We can't, in other words, we can't have Emunah and B'Token that Roy will get on the Zoom, because if Hashem wants him to be on the Zoom, he'll be on the Zoom. It doesn't matter whether or not we admit him. No, we have to do our part. Okay, good morning, Roy.
Good morning. How are you?
Baruch Hashem.
Good. Good morning to everybody else again.
Morning.
Morning, Roy.
How late am I?
You are exactly 27 minutes late.
Oh,
No, don't worry about it.
sorry.
You don't have to apologize. Okay, so we are in the we've read the entry of human effort over here on page 222, and we are mulling over it right now, particularly the first part of it. I'm reading the Hebrew version, and I'm seeing if it matches the translation that we have over here. So
Right.
again, we said over here, Ishtad l'sorik ma'od. We need human efforts very much for the kol davar tov, for every good matter. Bein b'milei da'amu, bein b'milei shmaya. Whether that matter is in regard to a mitzvah or whether it is not in regard to a mitzvah. We need yishtadlus. So that's number one. Then he goes on to step number two. Even though, of course, everything is basheretz. That's the first rule of emunah, that everything is basheretz. Everything is b'dei shemayim, except for yira shemayim. Okay, but we're not talking here about yira shemayim. We're talking about can we have an impact? Can we cause a certain result to accrue? And in regard to that, the Gemara says, "Hakol b'dei shemayim." Everything, not just a shidduch. When people say, "Oh, it's his bashert, it's her bashert," but everything is b'dei shemayim. That's what the Gemara says. So he's quoting that here as well. You can't ignore what the Gemara says. But he says, Aval. However, Kfar Milasi Amura. It has already been explained. Don't know exactly where that was, but he says that it was, maybe perhaps in the entry of Emunah, which would be in Aleph. Shilafamim, that in some certain situations, lifamim, sometimes, kach gozra chachmoso yisborach. This is part of the decree that Hashem decreed. He made a decree that a certain results will accrue שלפי השתדלוס והחריצוס שיעשו כן יקום הדבר. That Hashem made a decree that that this person is going to be saved from the hands of the goyim if there is a proper and significant effort made by the Jewish community to put up the money and put up the pressure or whatever it is that the Gedolei Yisrael say constitutes proper ishtadlus in this case in order to free this person. Okay, that's what the Pele Yoetz is saying. Lifamim, sometimes this is the nature of Hashem's decree. That the decree has a condition to it. That the person is going to be saved if the Jewish people make the proper effort to save him. And Chas v'sholom, if they are remiss in doing that, then the Hashem's decree is that this person will not be saved from the hands of the goyim. Okay. And in regard to this entry that he's talking about over here, this is the whole subject matter. He's not talking about people's parnasa or individual matters such as that. He's talking about a specific case of when Jewish lives are in danger, and they are in fact in danger of being taken away, and he says that Hashem's decree is that whether these people will be saved from death is that there's a factor over here of that's going to be there's a factor which has something to do with Hashem's decree in the equation over here in regard to the Jewish community's response to the to make the proper effort, which is of course a tremendous mitzvah that he says that he goes on at the end of the entry to say it's well known that the almost the entire Torah may be violated in order to save a life. But that's the case that he's talking about over here.
So Rabbi, this word ingenuity in the English, is that an accurate translation?
The word in Hebrew over here is charitzut. Now, generally, that word, as I understand it, it's generally used to refer to acting with alacrity, not waiting to, not delaying that's proper ishtadlus requires not delaying in making the ishtadlus.
That makes a lot more sense to me.
Yeah, ingenuity is not really the correct translation. Okay. Okay. It certainly is it certainly is the case. We have to make clear that it's definitely so that one in the case of a situation like this, it is a mitzvah which requires great effort and time and money and even violation of major Torah prohibitions in order to attempt to save the person. As you know, as we saw, we did see, that in the time of the Holocaust, we could say that there was the Gedolei Yisrael in America, and other places in the world as well. The Torah leaders were personally involved in doing whatever it was that they could in order to raise money, to give money to the Nazis in order to free people. And they were met with all sorts of difficulties in this regard, but nevertheless, this is what they attempted to do. There's a number of books that you can read about this, and that was and not only that, because there's nothing usher about raising money, but they made appeals on Shabbos. You can make an appeal on Shabbos also. But can you drive in a car on Shabbos for that reason? Generally, you're not allowed to drive in a car on Shabbos. That basically makes a person that's a very serious transgression. Public desecration of Shabbos. This was what was done. This was what was instructed by the Gedolei Yisrael that was necessary to be done in order to do whatever was possible to save Jewish lives. And even though generally there is a rule that I read in the book about the Rabbi Irving Bunim, that his own son wrote about him in the book, that he worked hand in hand with Rav Aaron Kotler Zatzal, the late great Rosh Yeshiva of Lakewood Yeshiva in America, and there's a quote over there that Rav Aaron says that if he would be able to save the fingernail of one Jew, he would if need be, he would work together with the Pope in order to do so. The Pope wasn't so interested in cooperating over here, but just the point of the statement is that there's no holds bar, no holds are barred in the mitzvah of saving a Jewish life. Anything that is necessary to be done is done.
That book, by the way, is called A Fire in His Soul.
Yeah, that's it. That's the book.
It's a great book.
Yeah. So over there, you yeah, right. Incredible stories there about what was, and so even though they tried to do whatever they could do, they didn't. They weren't afraid of the governments. They weren't afraid of public opinion. They weren't. It was very, very clear to them that this is what had to be done. Okay. Okay, Hanoah. Pleasure. And we go to Roy to continue for us.
Noah, the sages of Musa. Musa is defined as moral perfection here, wrote that this world and the next world are competitors, As long as a man pursues the pleasures and vanities of this world and partakes of them, it indicates that he does not understand the paths of life that lead to deriving pleasure from the splendor of the divine presence. The entire punishment of disintegration in the grave by, quote, worms that feel like sharp needles, unquote, is because the clipper, the exterior shell, has been assimilated by this person due to his pursuit of and indulgence in the pleasures of this world, which is associated with the side of evil. However, the physical body of the righteous, which did not indulge in evil pleasures at all, is not affected by the sitra achra, the side of evil. About them is written, in Tehillim, even my flesh will reside in security. Our sages in the Holy Zohar said that a person who is passionate about the love of God will not find any pleasure or satisfaction from any of the sensual pleasures of this world. He will only delight in the love of God. As it says in Shir Shirim, how beautiful and how pleasant are you, as befits the love of spiritual pleasures. However, the other matters of this world which are necessary for existence are performed for the sake of heaven. And if a person was forced by a demon, as related by Imma Shalom regarding her husband, Rabbi Eliezer in Baba Metzia 59b.
Okay, he's talking there about the conduct of Rebbe Elazar in regard to the mitzvah of marital relations. And in other words, over here, he's running into an issue where the Torah commands us to perform a mitzvah, and it's an obligation of the husband, and it involves a tremendous amount of hana. The idea of the mitzvah is not the primary focus of the mitzvah is to like it says in the Chumash, l'sameach es ishto asher lokach, to gladden and give joy to the wife that he took. But of course, he also derives great pleasure from the Maisa itself as well. And so over here, how do we view this? How do we view this? So he's presenting how it was that the Rebbe Elazar, how did he deal with this with the mitzvah? And so he's saying over here that even in matters, I'll just read you the Hebrew over here, about sharin yonei olam hazeh, but other matters of this world, hamuchrachim, that are imperative to be performed. I guess that's the way he's referring to the fact that it's a mitzvah. Osim kamisha kafu shade, that are to be done in the matter as though a demon was forcing him to do so. L'shem shamayim, for the sake of heaven, because of the fact that it is a mitzvah and it's his obligation. According to the Stipler wrote in one of his letters that this mitzvah is a mitzvah saseh min Torah. It's a positive commandment of the Torah, no less than the mitzvah of achilas matzah on Leila Seder. So just like a person, and as a matter of fact, it's very interesting in regard to the mitzvah of achilas matzah, if you take a look at the Gemara in Psachim, the Mishnah in Psachim, it says that one should be careful not to eat too much on Erev Pesach, so that he'll be able to fulfill the mitzvah with te'avon, so that he should do the mitzvah in a way that he has an appetite. Now, if he has an appetite, so he's going to eat the mitzvah, he's going to have pleasure from the mitzvah. So we see that there are mitzvahs that involve, and an integral part of the mitzvah is the pleasure. And the Stipler continues that if a person will think that, but he wants to be a big tzaddik, and he wants to do like it says that you're supposed to do, and not to involve yourself in the pleasures of this world. And if Stipler says he's playing with fire over here, that he thinks he's going to be a great tzaddik, but he didn't do the mitzvah that he was required to do. The mitzvah that he's required to do is l'sameach es ishto, to make his wife happy. And so one has to understand that one has to understand as follows, that Rebbe Lezer's wife was totally happy that this mitzvah between them should be done in this way. The reason that we have to say that is because otherwise, chas v'sholom, according to what the Stipler says, we would be implying that Rebbe Lezer was being frum and pious on his wife's cheshbon. And furthermore, it's not so frum, because it would mean that he would have been derelict in his obligation with sameach es ishto, to make his wife happy. So in any case, that's my comment over here on what he said over here. And as a matter of fact, there's another Gemaras as well that Rav Kahana once went under the bed of his Rebbe Rav while his Rebbe was with his wife, and the Gemara over there, it's a Gemara in Brachas, if you want to take a look at it, it's Brachas 62a, I believe. And over there it says that Rav was sach v'sachach. He talked, and he in a playful, loving way with his wife, and Rashi over there even says he engaged in sicha betela, in words of betela, like so to speak, words of that are what do we mean when we say sicha betela? We mean, the person is talking about, he's talking about things that are not necessary to say. They're not for a mitzvah. They're not for for any reason whatsoever. And in any case, and then Rav Kahana, he's amazed by what he hears underneath the bed, and he just can't contain himself anymore, and he calls out, and he says, "Abba." That was the way he referred to his Rav. My father. The way that the master is talking, it's as though it would seem as though he never had this pleasure in his whole life, and he's starving. And Rav realized that his student is under the bed over there, and he said, "Kahana, say, leave it once. Zelo derech eretz. This is not derech eretz, what you have done over here." And what is Rav Kahana's response? Torah hi. V'zeh ani tzarich lilmod. This is Torah, and I need to learn it. I need to learn what is the proper way to do in this situation when I have the mitzvah too. This is Torah. That's what he said. So that's what Rav said to him. Get out of here. And Rav Kahana said, but I need to know what I need to do. The Torah, this is Torah. I'm learning about what the Torah says from my master and teacher. And then there's another Gemara in Maseches Nida, Ayin Aleph. It says, what should a man do? They should be zocha to wonderful children, banim, bali Torah, etc., etc. And it says one thing. It says that he should be makadesh himself. He should sanctify himself at the time of Tashmish, at the time of the mitzvah that he's with his wife. And later on, the Gemara says a pasuk, skar pri baten, pasuk in Tehillim. These are the children that are the reward for from the fruit of the stomach. Very interesting language in David HaMelech's Tehillim. And one of the Amoraim says, what does that mean? He says, what's this business with the beten? The beten means the stomach. And he says over there that he interprets the word beten in the pasuk, in Tehillim, and he says, whoever is masha la beten, whoever holds himself back in the midst while he's recording stopped. Okay, well, and the Ravid over there asks that there would seem to be a contradiction between these two Gemaras. Here we have this Gemara in Nida that says that as long as he can, that it's good for him to lengthen the masa in order that his wife should enjoy. And there, on the other hand, we have the Gemara here that the Pele Yoetz is quoted in Bava Metzia that says that he's doing it as though a demon is forcing him, and over there we understand that he's doing it as fast as he possibly can. So the Ravid, one of the Rishonim, the early Rishonim, wrote a very, very important book about this whole subject called Bali Nefesh, and he says that we have to understand that both Reb Elazar and Rav and the Gemara Nida are talking about the same mitzvah. And even though they're what they seem to say would seem to be contradictory, but every person has to know what is the proper hanhaga for him to do, and everyone does the way that he needs to do l'shem shemayim. Okay. Okay, so now we go to the next paragraph. Roy L'Kol Adam. And we go back to Mayor, please. Oh, I'm reading from the Hebrew still. It's appropriate for every man.
Oh, is it me?
Hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
It is appropriate for every man to strengthen himself and to deeply reflect with pure thoughts, to understand and to comprehend that all of the pleasures of this world are vain and deceitful. They exist for a moment and disappear. A person must not pursue them and be drawn after them. Even if a pleasure becomes available to him, for example, monetary profit, a delicacy to the palate, fancy clothes, and so forth, he must immediately disparage it and say, if this is the pleasure that I get from something which is vanity and empty, how much more so will the pleasure of the world to come, where the righteous sit and are sated by the splendor of the divine presence, be so immeasurably greater, such that we cannot imagine even 1/1000th of it as long as our souls are in our bodies. Moreover, the pleasure of the love of God and the fulfillment of his mitzvot should be even greater. For 1 hour of Torah and good deeds in this world is better than all of the life of the world to come. And 1 hour of pleasantness in the world to come is better than all of the life in this world. It's Pirkei Avot. Here, because of this, you will not neglect Torah and mitzvot in order to pursue the pleasures of this world. If anyone would give the value of all of the wealth of his home to tempt you away from your love, they will surely scorn him. It's from Shir Shirim here. These thoughts and others like them, a person must think every time that he finds pleasure and satisfaction from the matters of this world. Wow.
Okay. Very good. So,
Time, I guess.
it's time. Okay.
2 minutes.
Okay. So, we'll send Mayor on his way with
Okay.
Harry suits, alacrity.
Well, I don't know how alacritous I am today, but thank you very much.
Lacking alacrity?
Lacking alacrity. Yeah.
That's how I knew what that word was when I read in the English Mesilas Yesharim that he has under the entry of Charitzus. That's what they translated that. So that's how I know what it means.
Very good.
Have a good day.
Everyone should have a good day. Thank you so much. Okay, bye
Have a
now.
great day, Mayor. All the best.
Thank you,
Bye.
Rabbi.
Tova.